Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's Jim and Steve here with you. It's Saturday, September 19th.
Good morning, everybody. Beautiful, soon-to-be fall day, here in the
Northeast.
North Jersey, the Northeast.
Had some good weather here lately. It's been awesome. A little chilly now, but that means fall is upon us and fall sports, which are happening.
When I think of fall sports, I think of the United States Golf Open in golf.
That's happening. Yes, it is. Right up the road from us at Wingfoot Country Club.
Correct. I've been to that club on several occasions to
I
watch.
never have, actually.
I was actually present in 1998 for the Davis Love Rainbow PGA Championship.
That was a
event.
that was a good catch by that photographer. That
Absolutely.
day. Yeah.
What an imposing course, though. It is. You and I have been to Shinnecock
We have
in Long Island for a U.S. Open.
and Westchester and
I mean, Shinnecock in itself is a challenging course, like hilly type of thing.
yeah, it's even tough to walk.
Wingfoot is beautiful and challenging. I think I saw maybe 6 players left that are under par right now. Patrick Reed's leading at 4 under.
I like him too. I like him. I like him.
DeChambeau
I know.
is right there at 3 under. And, I mean,
A couple of notables that didn't make the cut yesterday.
Sure.
Right? Changing of the guard, so to speak.
well, Woods and Mickelson out. It's probably Phil's, let's be real, last hurrah, if you will, at trying to get
Absolutely.
that U.S. Open. I can't see him pulling this off in his early 50s. So,
We
Did
saw
it-
that with Watson trying to win it, almost did it, and then
the
instead
British
of-
Open,
Yeah,
right?
his putting killed him, but
Right.
you know that.
But the thing about DeChambeau is this guy's put a lot of muscle on, and he can hit it like far. And I'm telling you, he's strong enough for this course where, I mean,
But
it may be enough for him to pull this off.
But the old rule of golf here in his drive for show, putt for dough. I watched him miss a lot of putts yesterday that you need to make, certainly at a course like Wingfoot.
I get it. So he's got 2 days to straighten that out. But
Yeah.
I like his chances. I'm actually rooting for Patrick Reed. I like Patrick Reed.
I do too.
He's had some controversy, in the last year or two, some nonsense things. But I like Patrick Reed. He's got a Masters already, and it'd be nice if he could get a U.S. Open on his resume. And
Yeah, well, what I'm going to take, I think this is Rory's time. I'm going to go with Rory.
you go with Rory every year.
I don't know. I don't go with him every year, actually. But listen.
What
he
about
just
your
had to
boy
be-
Ricky Fowler, who has never won a major?
I know, and
This is the year for Ricky.
I said they're due, him and Tony Finau and so forth, which brings me up to I need to mention one of our loyal listeners, Kenny Backert, who is certainly an expert at golf and greenskeeping and golf course maintenance.
And etiquette.
And but he even brought up yesterday that Tony Finau is, and you're right. I've been touting him for about 2 years. So, but now with the changing of the guard, things could open up. Looking forward to it. It's typical U.S. Open, 8-inch rough. I don't know how these guys even get the ball out of there, and they're hitting it 150 yards, buried under 8 inches of grass.
And there's another name that was he from England, Tommy Fleetwood. Not that he's going to win the U.S. Open. I'm just saying he's another name that.
Well, he's been there for a while, but he hasn't done much lately.
I understand, but he's always top 5 or top 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls a major off in the next
Where is
couple
he right
years.
now on the board after 2 rounds? I'm not sure, but I didn't even think he was that close.
No, but you just said like Tony Finau, guys like that. I think Fleetwood is the type of guy that could probably win a major in the next couple of years. I think he's
All right, who's going to win the United States Golf Open?
I'm gonna go with DeChambeau.
Okay.
Just like I said, because of his physical strength, and I think that's enough to beat this course.
Well, you got to watch out for guys like John Rahm and
Justin Thomas is right there. He's playing well.
He's playing as best as he has.
He's 2 under. He's only 2 strokes off. But again, Saturday, U.S. Open, a lot of movement happens.
It's moving day.
It's moving day. That's exactly what they call it.
So that's great. And listen, speaking of golf, this segment sponsored by Coriano Trucking, who's, he drives a big 18-wheeler and he's damn good at golf. So we thank them very much for their support.
Thanks, Guy, as always.
So let's move on. There's a lot of stuff going on in sports right now. We'll start with the NBA because we catch a lot of crap because we minimize the NBA a little bit. But a couple of things happened over the past week, right? Kawhi and the Clippers sent packing after a 3-1 lead.
Right.
To the Denver Nuggets. What do you make of that?
Well, it's not only did the Nuggets come back in this one down 3-1, they came back 3-1 against Utah, and you have to pat them on the back. And Mike Malone.
They're not going to beat the Lakers, though.
No, but I have a little Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon
with Mike Malone because one of my college roommates, Michael Gibbons, who passed away unfortunately about 20 years ago. His best friend was Brendan Malone, who is the brother of Mike Malone.
Wasn't he a coach of the Nets or something?
Nets and
Nets organization for a while.
And the Knicks, too. Right. But I met Mike Malone, 20 years ago. But he paid his dues. He worked his way up the ladder as an assistant forever, and he's done a great job in Denver. And that combination of Jokic and Murray, they're going to be pretty good going forward. They're not going to beat the Lakers. The Lakers won last night, like 126, 114. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion, but.
And the league wants LeBron James and Anthony Davis in that final.
Sure.
Right?
I mean, and your boy Harden didn't disappoint.
Lived up to our expectations.
Yeah, non-factor, and
and they want to hang Mike D'Antoni for that? You got to be kidding me. Yeah. So he's taking a show on the road.
So Houston, I'm not surprised, got eliminated, but the Miami Heat.
Yeah,
I think they've won 11 out of 12 playoff games at this point.
Yep.
They are playing outstanding. The acquisition of Jimmy Butler has paid off big time.
I'm more impressed with him than I certainly was before this season.
The guard Dragic or Goran Dragic guy's lefty, real good ball player.
Yeah, got a good foundation.
They got depth, Iguodala, guys like that are role model type of thing, or supporting cast guys that have won it before, and they're up 2-0 against the Celtics, and Celtics are in a must-win
little
position
turmoil
tonight.
Potentially there. I mean,
yeah,
we're a little surprised. I think you and I have been on this Celtics bandwagon for a couple of weeks now, but down 2-0.
Well, they've been close games, and they have to win tonight. So
it's going 7.
Kemba Walker hasn't played well at all for the Celtics, and to his credit, he's not hiding under the desk or anything. He's answering questions, and he's flat out saying, "I got to play better." And he when he's on, he's a really good player. So he better turn the light switch on.
And this could easily turn to 2-2.
I don't know. I think the Heat are. We talked about Coach Spagnuolo,
Spoelstra.
I'm sorry. We grew up with a Spagnuolo.
Yeah, tight end for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. But Eric Spoelstra, the Miami coach, is a Pat Riley protege, and he's done a really good job.
And never got his just due, we said, because, it was LeBron and Bosh and Wade that won the title, but... Yeah.
But I wouldn't be disappointed in a Miami Laker final, and I'd be rooting for Miami.
Yeah, and Giannis got his second straight MVP. And again, there's got to be an asterisk here. Everything except hockey, because hockey almost had a full season. They were there pretty much.
The NBA played, a fair share of games, but.
And he became only the second player in NBA history to win 2 MVPs and 2 Defensive Player of the Years. The other one, I think you might...
Michael Jordan would have to be.
Pretty good guess. You got it.
But anyway, the NBA, like we talked about, has done a really good job of salvaging this. And
They have.
So we shall see. We'll know by the weekend, I would imagine,
Yeah, by
what
next
the finals
weekend.
will be.
You got it.
And then switching gears to hockey.
Yes, which has been great, by the way.
Fantastic.
It really has been great.
Yeah, but we give credit to the New York Islanders. They really hung tough, and Tampa is a good team,
Yep.
and they got nothing to be.
As you mentioned, the Tampa
hold their
Bay
heads down.
Rangers.
Tampa
right?
Rangers, yeah. But
Sets us up for a Lightning and Stars, kind of a Galaxy type final, right?
yeah, but Coach Cooper in Tampa, they've been knocking on the door there. I think this guy's a really good coach.
I saw a thing on John Cooper. He's got New York roots. He's a Long Island guy.
He's a
Actually.
really
Grew up
good
as an
coach.
Islander fan and so
Yeah.
forth. Yep.
But the NHL is
Been great. It
Yeah.
really has been great. So listen, we got the Stars Lightning. Who do you like? I think this is the Lightning's year. I mean, again, they're a tough big team, and so are the Stars, right? But Stars play in that Western Conference. They score a lot. It's going to come down to goaltending, which it normally does, right?
sure.
Defense wins Super Bowls, and pitching wins championships, and that's how this is going to go down. But I think it's going to go at least 6 games. But I'm going with the Lightning.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Tampa here too.
And I think both you and
Just
I
leaning towards Tampa. Listen, I'm not gonna be surprised if Dallas wins this.
exactly.
But
I'm kind of pulling for guys like McDonough and Callahan, right? These are Ranger guys. Both captains of the Rangers traded to the Tampa Bay as captains of the Rangers. I don't know if that's ever happened, but hockey's been great. And you're right, the Islanders, they got a foundation going forward, new arena coming in,
Yeah. and they came back in these games and overtimes and things like that. But and I said it. I think I said it on the show. I know I've said it in private. The Rangers Islanders, I would say, we're about a year or two away from the kids that are going to grow into supreme.
I think the Islanders are
talent.
closer than the Rangers.
Well, they are. They've had a head start on the Rangers rebuild. But listen, the next, starting 2 years from now, for the next 8 years, it's going to be great rivalry.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
I can't wait either. I love it.
Great young talent on both teams.
It sure is. And let's say our next segment is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut, and hope they're doing well out in Hartford and so forth in Manchester. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
So listen, let's move on. A couple of things in Major League Baseball, right? A week ago, we were talking. The Yankees were reeling, right? They were decimated with injuries, and Judge was out, and Carlos Stanton was out, and everybody was out. They lost 7 games. Fast forward a week, 9 in a row. What a
11 in
shellacking
a
they
row.
gave.
Well, they beat the Red Sox for the 11th time in a row, but you're right.
Yeah.
The Yankees are on really a nice roll here.
And what an ass kicking they gave to Toronto. I mean, this is going to come back someday twofold.
20 runs they scored.
In one game.
Well, what about the Atlanta Braves several
hot.
days before? 29 runs, which is now the Major League record, which surpassed...
In what, modern day era?
Well,
kind of thing?
surpassed the St. Louis Cardinals, who scored 27. Late 80s, the Tommy Herr and Willie McGee team. And,
Tommy Herr was a good ball player.
The Wizard, Ozzie Smith.
Yeah.
29 runs, man. That's...
I know, but even look what they did.
That's a lot of runs. That's a lot of potatoes.
That's a lot of potatoes, exactly. Obscure line, if you know what it is, send us an email at Sports with Mono and Mono.
But listen, Stanton came back, had a 4-hit game, first time for him in 3-4 years at least. But he's batting right now .321. He doesn't have a hell of a lot of at bats, but our boy DJ LeMahieu batting only .367. I love this kid.
Love him to death. You kidding me?
I want them.
Had the game-winning hit last night?
I want him locked up for
He's not going
7
anywhere.
years at least.
Yeah.
That's the type of player, if I was the general manager or an owner,
Well, they know that now.
I would give. That's the contract I would give out. So then, Dirty Sanchez, who had a home run last night. You know,
Okay, when it didn't mean much.
nah, but he, you know, he's now at 154, and
He's passing. He surpassed my potential 140
yeah,
batting
well,
average.
he could always swing the other way, but he's at 154.
Yeah.
And he's actually playing himself out of this big contract that everybody would expect the Yankees, you know, as one of the young kids, foundation type. No way are they signing him to a 7-year, you know, ridiculous.
And plus now they got this guy Higashioka who's hit 3 home runs in one game,
Yeah.
and he's a
He had a
solid
good game.
catcher. Solid catcher. So
But I've mentioned that the Yankees in the last couple of years have drafted catchers in the first round. The last couple of years, I think one of the catchers though can move to first base. He's a flex guy, but they got a kid that probably a couple of years away. And,
Yeah.
So they'll be fine in that.
yeah.
I'm still a little concerned about the Yankee pitching though. Meaning
Well, I watched
J.A.
Cole.
Happ and,
No,
and these
Paxton's
type of
out
guys.
for the season.
Paxton is a
But Tanaka and Cole are pitching.
That's
in the-
1-2. I'm a Tanaka guy. When it comes playoff time, listen, I'm a big fan of Tanaka.
I
Always
got
have
you,
been.
I know.
But that's only 2.
Mm.
And the bullpen doesn't really make me feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, no, they've been up and down. That's for sure.
And but they're playing great baseball. It's
Right, but of course, even in the National League, the Phillies we talked about, they're playing good ball, right? And believe it or not, the Mets are still in it, right? But if they lose DeGrom, you can kiss that season goodbye. But like we talked about this, Conforto, Davis, these guys, they got a good foundation. The Mets do have a good foundation.
They go, and they got it. This guy Cohen's going to buy the Mets. It seems like.
It seems like he is.
Well, I think it's going to happen because he already danced with the Wilpons and he walked away. And at the end of the day, this guy's got more money than he knows what to do with.
Yeah.
He's a Met fan. I think his father Met fan. And I would say once he takes control of the team, I'm not sure when that happens.
Yeah.
But you're going to kiss Brody goodbye. He's going to clean house and bring in his own people. So
And
I think,
spend money.
and I think the Mets are going to be thrilled that this guy is the owner.
I agree, and that is happening. I'm not sure why it fell apart, last year, but it seems to be moving forward. For
I
sure.
would love to meet Jeff Wilpon in an alley. Give me 5 minutes with Jeff Wilpon.
And started off with, "What were you thinking?"
Punk, gutless.
Good Stripes reference there. But listen, baseball's getting down to the wire. There's 10, 12 games left, and
everybody.
and they're
makes it
going
for
they're going the bubble route.
Well, pretty
for-
much, yeah. But what is it? Half the teams make it pretty much. I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're gonna go bubble, and what is it? 4 sites or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the right thing to do because you don't want to really risk that.
At this point, you've
far.
done it right.
Yeah,
You've done it
so
right. Yeah.
I think it kind of makes sense that
I got you.
they go with that route.
Yeah. So listen, baseball's coming down the stretch in playoffs. It's like I said, all of a sudden we've forgotten about the cornhole championships and the rock skipping championships because the major sports are back.
Thank goodness.
And listen, before we move off the Major League Baseball, I wanted to bring one other point. Albert Pujols moved into 5th place on the all-time home run list. And we've talked about this. His first 10 years were Lou Gehrig-like.
Yeah.
But he's been a compiler for the past, 5 years and so forth. So,
But
I mean,
I don't put him in that category.
really?
Nah.
Look at his past 4 years. I mean, he was a 300 lifetime hitter. He hit 30, 40 home runs, drove in 100 runs religiously.
They signed him to a contract that he's just playing to collect his paycheck. Let's be real.
But he's compiling stats.
He's the type of guy that deserves it, though. This guy is a bona fide Hall of Fame.
I'm not dismissing
I know you're
it.
not.
I'm just saying he passed Willie Mays, right? And Willie Mays,
Yeah.
of course we know at the end of his career, retired with the Mets and so forth. It wasn't the same player,
Right.
but passing Willie Mays is a big deal on a list.
The
right?
Say Hey Kid.
He was awesome.
He was
I've always said, listen, Ruth and Gehrig and Williams, these guys were But if there was one Major League Baseball player that had everything, run, catch, hit, was Willie Mays.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. That's something I've always felt, and it's not dismissing the Ruth and Gehrig stuff, but amazing player, and Pujols passed him, number 5. Next on the list, A-Rod.
A-hole.
J-Rod. But anyway, that's
the debate to have is A-Rod is in 4th place. I mean, let's be real here.
No, he's not in the same category
not
as a
even,
Willie Mays.
Not even within
the
margin.
So, all right, so baseball's happening, right? Let's move on to football. And first point I wanted to make, because we talked about this a few weeks ago, you and I. Remember? The Big Ten got canceled.
Right.
And you and I said, oh, no, that means no Ohio State-Michigan game. And we want Ryan Day to lay it on Jim Harbaugh tenfold.
Right.
And then we started to say, you know what? I think these guys are starting to think they can get this season in. And now they're starting to talk. Right. And now it's happening.
It's happening.
So the Big Ten is coming back the weekend of October 23rd.
Why do you think the Big Ten is coming back?
Money.
And also for the past 2 weeks, they're sitting there turning their TVs on, and what are they watching? College football.
Yeah.
And you know how much money is at stake for the Big Ten? Okay. It's $700-something million is what it generates. The Big Ten. Just the Big Ten.
I get it. Right? But my point was, we're going to see an Ohio State-Michigan football game this year.
We are.
And I thought it was unthinkable. I said, no way that, there was little chance that the Big Ten commissioners would reverse course, but I think it's public pressure here. I mean,
yeah, it is. I can't fault them for error or
erring on the side
of caution. Okay, but it's about the money. There's no question. And
well, when they see the Clemsons and Alabamas, they're all playing football and so forth, and nobody's gotten corona to the extent.
There's nobody in the stands, but the football is still football, at least on TV, right? Even the NFL, when it opened up, it's about the football. But I just want to bring back that point that we talked about Harbaugh and Ryan Day 3 weeks ago or so. They're going to lay 100 on him. Remember Ryan Day said?
Well, I mean, Michigan's got a lot of talent.
I am saying Ohio State is going to bring the hammer to Michigan, and I can't wait to watch it.
But I thought it was just very interesting that we kind of slowly threw that out there a few weeks ago that, maybe if they start talking, and they started talking, and now it's going to happen. So, it's Big Ten football, and we know how important
the commissioner got so much pressure.
Exactly.
It's simple as that. But they're going to play, and they're going to play till I think they play until December. I think the last game will be the day before they decide, what teams make the playoff.
Well, it's going to be in December, no question, because the Big Ten's not starting until October 23rd.
Right.
And there's an 8-game season.
Yeah.
So, but it's coming.
But we're watching it. I mean, we're trying to give the human side here of protecting the players, but we're whores like anybody else, and we're going to watch, Ohio State versus Indiana or whatever it is, that type of thing.
Right, but this whole Corona thing seems to, and I want to use this cautiously, subsiding enough to the point where they can say, we got to do this. We got to do this, and they're doing it. I'm a little surprised. I thought no way once the Big Ten commissioners, voted one way that they could get this overturned. But you're right, it was peer pressure.
Peer pressure and $700 million.
Yep. So I wanted to start off our football discussion with that. And
but college football is today,
yeah.
And I would say the best game today would be Louisville, Miami.
Yeah, it is. Marquee game.
2-point spread. Miami goes to Louisville, and
It's a big game when you know College Game Day is actually
Sure.
doing the broadcast from
And
there.
it still takes me a little while to say Louisville when you think of college football. I mean, obviously Lamar Jackson,
Obviously.
Bobby Petrino was there before, and
Twice.
twice, and motorcycles.
Yeah, right. Girlfriends. and
Right.
all this, yeah.
But I think I took Louisville tonight,
Okay.
just because Miami's on the road,
And Miami is not the Miami they once were. So, they're trying to turn it around with Manny Diaz and so forth. And they may, but right now they're not there.
let's just say Jerome Brown's not walking down the airplane in his fatigues.
Right. Vinny right behind him. You got it.
If
Listen,
I wasn't that, the throwback a memory of ours.
big time. What was that, 1987, I guess, right?
Yeah, like the '86 season, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
And
Orange Bowl.
we were at your apartment. You were newly married, a new father. Your daughter Nicole was in the bassinet or something at
Right.
the time. And Jim and I always made the point of watching the national championship together.
You do?
And when I tell you, that was right.
It was unbelievable. This was all before we found out about the Paterno and the Sandusky stuff.
yeah,
But
I mean, this is decades before, but the point about it was the shirts and ties of Penn State versus the fatigues of Miami. And when Vinny threw pick number 5, I think it was,
to Pete Giftopoulos.
Giftopoulos in the end zone to seal the victory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right?
Yep.
To us, that was one of the greatest victories.
It was. It really was.
For the good guys. And
Just so, like on the downside, we saw, Penn State with Chuck Fusine at the time. Wasn't that, was that the Georgia game?
no, they lost to Alabama.
Alabama, I'm sorry. Not
14-7.
Yeah.
Major Ogilvy was the running back.
Yeah, he
was
was.
the 79
Very good.
Sugar Bowl.
Yep.
And but Penn State won it with Blackledge in '82.
We did.
And John Schaefer was actually the quarterback for Penn State in '86. And I think DJ Dozier was the running back in '86.
Maybe.
No.
At that time? Yeah.
Yep.
NFL bust, but, he was a great
Yeah, he
college
wasn't
player.
as big a bust as Mr. Blair Thomas, of course, and
He got injured, I think.
Kajana Carter. These guys were outstanding. At
Well,
Penn
Carter actually had a legitimate, injury to his knee. or
The
something.
New York Jets select Blair Thomas.
Yeah.
But at the time,
Sounded good.
Totally.
Sounded good.
Listen.
So listen, college football is back, and these hopefully we get some good memories of like we did from days past.
Memories.
So the NFL, right? It's
The
underway.
NFL.
And I'm going to throw this out. I think, what we're going to do each week, and we did it last week, I'm just going to pick 2 games
You're
or,
gonna pick two?
locks of the week.
But
And-
nothing's a lock.
That's
Nothing's a
that's
lock.
what makes it unique.
Okay.
Right?
So when you're wrong,
Right. We're
not a
unlocked.
lock.
We're unlocked, right? But I don't play the points. I'm picking who's going to win the game. That's how I am. My thoughts on this whole draft.
anybody
thing,
can pick a winner.
Right.
You gotta have points.
Right. So we had the big showdown with the Baker Mayfield and Joe Burrow game, and
But I tell you, Joe Burrow in the first 2 games, even though they're 0-2, he's playing a hell of a lot better than I thought.
most completions by a rookie quarterback in NFL history,
He's doing-
37.
He's doing very well, Joseph Burrow.
Yeah, he's going to be a good player. We know that. But that was that's the Thursday night games and so forth. So this weekend, right? Giants are at
The Bears.
the Bears. And you know what? They haven't had much luck out there, but there's a chance. I'm not sold on Trubisky anymore. So they should have lost the game to the Lions last week. The guy dropped a perfect pass from Stafford in the end zone. So
Right.
that's happening in the Jets and the Niners. Right?
Yeah.
49ers come to the East Coast, play the Jets in the Meadowlands, an empty stadium. They should cruise. That's one of my mono picks right there. I don't even know what the line is.
7.
7, yeah. But I don't see
I'll
that
just
being a
comment
problem.
on the Jets. They didn't disappoint last week.
No,
I mean, Sam Darnold.
you're hanging in there.
I'm not hanging in there anymore.
All right.
Meaning,
I've told you from day one. This is suspect.
I'm not liking what I see. I'll leave it at that. And I'm not blaming the kid. It's not like he has John Stallworth and Lynn Swan he's throwing.
He's got
to.
nobody to throw.
He's got nobody.
I got it.
But
And Bell's going to take another 3 weeks
he doesn't.
off.
He's not impressing me. I guess is the best thing from an eye test and as an ex-quarterback.
Right, he has moments of, that's a great pass, that kind of thing. But
Sure,
you're right.
he'll make a good throw, but he's not consistent enough for my liking.
And I'm telling you, that's how I felt from day one. I don't want to say I'm going to be right, but I wanted to also talk about the other quarterback in New York, Daniel Jones, right? He made just a horrible decision rolling out on Monday Night Football. Kind of cost him the game. But he had some moments of brilliance. He's a good player. He's got a lot of good talent. So I'm still optimistic on that. But the Giants' offensive line was horrendous. And I'm going to say, besides the fact that the number one draft choice, Andrew Thomas, seemed to be the only one that played well on Monday night. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, but the Giants, it's going to be another 6-7 win season maybe. But it's going to show the maturity and like we said, the jury's still out for me on Jones. I'm very optimistic. But
Excuse me, the
Darnold,
jury is still out on Daniel Jones. Did you just say that?
Yeah, why?
Oh, aren't you the guy that predicted that the Giants would draft him and you loved him?
You didn't hear me finish. I like it. I mean, but if they don't get an offensive line in front of him, he's going to get eaten for lunch and get hurt.
You knew that. All
I
these
like him.
intangibles had to happen.
He's not going to disappoint me like Sam Darnold did. That's my point.
I just wanted you to
I'm with you.
reinforce your statement there.
No, I'm talking about an NFL experience type thing.
I
love the
understand.
talent. I love what he's doing, but he's made some
Just
suspect
clarifying.
decision. And like Josh Allen in Buffalo, he's got to learn to control and hold on to that football.
Okay.
But I like Barkley, but there was no place for him to run on Monday Night Football. It was horrible.
there was no place for him to run.
15 carries, 6 yards. I mean, and this is a superstar.
Then what would you attribute that to?
The offensive line is horrible.
Exactly. But it's a revamped offensive line.
I know. I like our left tackle. He's the only one. But just who is this hump you gave us from Dallas? Fleming or something? The right offensive tackle?
Yeah.
I would have rather had Art Fleming, the former host of Jeopardy.
That is correct.
Blocking
Absolutely.
the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, really. I wasn't disappointed that you snagged him.
He makes Eric Flowers look like Anthony Munoz.
Nobody makes Eric Flowers look like Anthony Munoz. So speaking of your favorite team, my favorite team went to L.A. and Coach McCarthy in his debut.
Yeah.
Little
questionable call.
Yeah, Monday morning quarterbacking. Well,
what do you think of the call?
No, not the call. I wanted to get to the point where he didn't kick a field goal with like four minutes and change.
But that was the call I'm talking about.
No, then
I went for it, right?
All right, but then I'll get to the call I thought you were talking about was. So, I mean, that's like Jason Garrett getting crucified. It was exactly as if Jason Garrett was on the sideline and he decided to go for it. He'd be crucified, right? I mean, in that situation, I kick a field goal just to tie the game with 4 minutes to go. But the call was Dak hits Gallup down the sideline against Jalen Ramsey, and the ref called offensive interference.
Yeah.
But they were both wrestling each other.
Yep.
They both touched each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not crying wolf here. I would say it was a penalty, but it wasn't like this blatant thing.
No.
But it's the Cowboys.
It's week 1 of 7.
But
16
I've
games.
seen this. It's over 25 years now, or it's about 25 years since we won a Super Bowl, and I've seen this time and time again when the Cowboys lose games like this, and I'm just beside myself.
Yep. But Steve, listen. Before we move off, I like to do some research, right? Because you and I, we talked about NFL players and some get in the Hall of Fame, and some guys don't.
Let's just finish. So I'll take I'll take the Niners as well as a pick.
That's my pick.
And I'll take the 7 points because I'm a pick guy.
All right.
What was your other pick?
I'm going to take,
quote unquote.
it's going to be a surprise, but I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Bills. And I was all over the Bills last week, as you know. But I don't think they play well in Miami, and that's my second lock of the week.
Really?
From sports with mono and mono.
I'm going to take the Chiefs.
And who are the Chefs playing?
The Chefs are playing the Chargers. And it's a 9-point spread. I just think the Chiefs are so loaded. And
Everyone's going to ride them until the horse breaks down. But
which will only be about 5 years from then.
all right.
I think they're going to win 3 out of 6, I'll say.
What, in the next 3 Super Bowls out of the next 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think they go back to back.
You know things always come unglued at some point in time. Dynasties end quickly.
I'm just going right now on September 19th, 2020.
Hey, we're both Patrick Mahomes fans, and you and I have been on his bandwagon
Well, we talked
since,
about
since
it.
his
Locked
college
up Chris
days.
Jones and Kelsey. The pieces are going to stay
Right
in
now,
place.
they got it. It looks
And
good.
Andy Reid, like we said, they'll have to,
Carry him.
wheel them out.
Yep. All right, so those are our picks.
Those
for the
are our
week,
picks.
But one quick thing I wanted to bring up about, I was doing some research and looking about, because Roethlisberger was on, he's got almost twice as many passing yards as Terry Bradshaw.
That makes sense.
And Terry Bradshaw obviously won 4 Super Bowls and so forth, so he's in the Hall of Fame. And then I said, who could I compare Terry Bradshaw to? And then I thought of it, and I said, Joe Namath. So I looked up his stats.
Uh-huh.
He threw more interceptions than touchdown passes, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
I knew that.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it was
Did you
close.
see what his completion percentage was?
Horrific.
Horrific.
I mean, and we love Joe Namath as a personality and
I'm
so
going
forth.
top of my head. I'm hoping it's 50%, but I think it's 49 and change.
Right.
Is that correct?
I don't know that. I'm just saying
I'm
more,
going to look it up. Then.
more interceptions than touchdowns.
Joe Willie.
So Hall of Fame, it does matter. You win a Super Bowl, right? And if you don't, then,
Well, it's not
But
only.
look at the numbers. I mean, obviously, the game has changed, right? And there's more passing and so forth. So, but that was a big discrepancy. I thought, but Roethlisberger twice as many passing yards.
Yeah, but back to Joe Namath. I mean, it wasn't just that he just won the Super Bowl. I mean, he saved the league and was able to.
So it's a thank you for saving.
No,
the league.
it was. He was that influential,
And I like him, but I'm just that number blew me away.
sure.
More interceptions than touchdowns.
Yeah.
Whew.
Thank God I was right. 50.1 completion percentage.
Yeah.
Um,
But anyway, I just brought that up because I like to see this in comparison from days past to today, and yardage is twice as what it was back then. But besides Bradshaw having his own reality show now,
Yeah, but-
the Bradshaw Bunch, I guess this is the new show that's going to replace the Bradshaw Bunch. You heard me correctly. He's doing a reality show now, which is going to replace the Kardashians.
That's fine. He can do whatever he wants because I know I'm never watching.
Oh, what a buffoon.
I won't even watch the commercial if there is one.
I mean, an unbelievable football player for those 4 championships, but what a buffoon ought to feel like.
And a great appearance in Hooper.
Yep. Very good. I told you, I'm a big fan.
1979 vehicle starring Burt Reynolds.
I want this, Max. I want this. And that Robert Klein. Anyway, so there's a lot going on in sports, right? We're getting down to crunch time in a lot of areas. So
We are.
And enjoy the rest of the U.S. Open. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again.
we'll see how our picks pan out on the next week's show.
Okay.
All right. Like I said, I got notable passings, and obviously.
Well, let's thank our sponsor, De Filippi's Bakery of Monticello, New York.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your loyal support.
We appreciate them very much. Hope they're making out well during this pandemic. So our notable passings. And like I said, this isn't a political show, it's a sports show. But there's only one of 9 Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court, and we just lost one, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also known as the notorious RBG. Tiny little woman, but listen, when you get elevated to the Supreme Court, it's the highest level in that legal profession.
There's a movie on HBO about her life.
Exactly.
And whether I think I've seen combined 7 minutes, but she was a smart lady, and listen, to your point, I mean, anybody who's appointed to the Supreme Court, agree or disagree with their philosophies, if you will, you have to,
absolutely
give your due.
Absolutely.
She fought a long time, though. I mean, Christ, if he had a Deadpool, I mean, she was a #1 draft pick.
Behind Kirk Douglas, I guess.
Kirk Douglas.
But that's a very notable passing in the world of
just
politics
happened,
and
right?
so forth.
Within what, the last
24
not
hours?
even 20, that type of thing. So.
And we may not have agreed with her policies and so forth, but
Well,
she was
I'll
definitely
flat out
influenced.
say on this show, just so you know, not even close.
I'm trying to take the middle of the road here, but
Are you a Kagan guy now, or?
But she became this kind of a pop culture type thing, and
Not to me.
Kate McKinnon on Saturday Night Live was brilliant. Come on, it was brilliant.
But not to me.
But anyway, we certainly wanted to mention that. That's
I'll give her
notable.
credit. She fought though. She
did.
She did. She fought.
Tiny little lady, too.
Tiny little lady.
But we wanted to mention that.
Sure.
And we do have a notable from the NFL, Larry Wilson.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about Larry Wilson not too long ago for some reason. Came up.
I think we were talking about Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers and so forth, but he was most definitely a Hall of Famer,
Absolutely.
number 8 for the Cardinals.
Yep. 82 years old.
Yep.
And, he was
staple for them in
one
the
of 6
70s.
safeties to be elected to the NFL's all-time team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a great player. We are old enough, tail end of his career. He was probably 35, 36, which in today's age is like playing like you're 47.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But he was good. We watched him play. He was on those
Bonafide Hall of
teams
Famer.
with Jim Hart and Terry Metcalf in the 70s and so forth, right?
Yep. Conrad Dobler.
Banks, Dobler,
Tom Banks.
and who's the other
Dan
one?
Deerdorf.
Deerdorf, of course. How could we forget him?
Oh, J.V. Kane.
Yeah. So listen, those are our notable passings for the week, and we certainly wanted to mention them. And before we go,
Jim Otis.
Yeah, you
Remember Jim Otis?
You bet, of course. Jim Otis, center, right?
Yeah, fullback.
Oh, I mean fullback. You're right.
Totally.
On the Deerdorf, Banks, and
Dobler
team. But listen, I want to give a shout out, and it's again to a friend of mine, Howard Waldrop, running for mayor of Mahwah, New Jersey. Now you may say, why are we bringing some obscure town in New Jersey? Because it's what we talked about, right? We support the right to protest, we abhor violence, and so forth. But this is a case, and he's a friend of mine, where the town is dissatisfied with the current administration.
Okay.
So what do? Do something about it and run against it and so forth. So I hope this is happening.
So he has no political experience?
No, he does not. But he sees this as an opportunity to say, well, if I don't do something, who will?
Sounds like Tommy Tuberville, the ex-Auburn
Now
Cincinnati
congressman or senator.
No, he beat Jeff Sessions for the right to run off against the
Right.
Democratic guy for the United States Senate.
But listen, I wanted to shout out to Howard and wish him good luck in his
We wish
election.
you
because
Howard, absolutely.
he took the initiative and said, what's going on is wrong, and I'm going to try to change it. And if he's successful, good for him. If not, he made the effort,
Sure.
and that's what we support.
There you
go. So listen, thanks for joining us, everybody. This is like I said, it's a busy time in sports. Lots of stuff's going on. But we look forward to hearing from you. So please send us an email at sportswithmonoandmono@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And Steve, enjoy the rest of the U.S. Open, the playoffs, and everything.
I will. And thanks everybody for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
We certainly shall. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.